Unfortunately, well, we thought we'd seen the worst in the FCT over the weekend when, we saw some hoodlums also break into some of the warehouses. But yes, Monday was quite also, turbulent and also chaotic. And yes, it has continued on Tuesday. Now we are in Kubwa. Well, on Saturday, information was circulated on social media about a warehouse here that contained palliatives. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunate, or I should say, fortunately, no issues on Saturday. On Sunday, no issues. On Monday, no issues. But this is Tuesday, and we can confirm to you that hoodlums earlier today made attempts and did get into the warehouse. But then, we saw the security officials reinforce and then somehow were able to push the hoodlums back. Now, we've been there. We tried to get visuals. Unfortunately, well, for some of the people around, they wanted Arise News, who have actually identified with some of the struggles to indeed get those visuals. But unfortunately, well, it became very chaotic, and we had to leave there when we saw that there were, some elements already who had started making some form of assault on us. So the situation right now is that we are still in Kubwa. Well, there are some parts that is indeed safe. Well, in some other parts, very close to the or perhaps I should say, where the NYSC camp is located, it's becoming chaotic. Well, perhaps you can, you have those visuals now. Well, there are, the hoodlums are beginning to set fires on the streets with tires, and then also beginning to gather in clusters, and that's exactly what the security forces do not want. And so they made attempts, to indeed chase the hoodlums away. Well, they got into the popular tricycles, Keke Napep, and then chased some of the hoodlums away, went left, went right. But yes, the hoodlums would regroup, and that's the situation here. But we are just some meters away from where it is happening, into one of the closest around, and just trying to get these visuals over to you.
So if I understand what you're saying, Ferdinand, the Kubwa place where these goods are stored, as at now, is relatively, would you say, quiet because of the presence of security operatives?
Yes, but I can also confirm that earlier today there were attempts, and then not just attempts. Some people looted some items from that particular warehouse, but the security was reinforced, and the place has been safe. But that's not to say the environment have not been chaotic. Well, we've seen fires, we've seen flames go up, we've seen them set fires on tires in the streets, and we just hope that, the security will continue to hold the fort. Well, just a couple of minutes ago also, we actually saw helicopters also trying to provide surveillance, it's in a very typical situation of what we've seen in some of the other places. But yes, this is just Kubwa. Well, we can also confirm that, in Kuje, there are some chaotic scenes already, and this time around, quite unfortunate. Well, it's about the General Hospital, where we hear that there are some hoodlums who are gathered, and you know exactly how it is, fake news, and then some other information that some people peddle from some places, talking about warehouses where things are stored, and then they are beginning to gather around those places. So we just hope that we will keep tabs, and then we hope that common sense will prevail and logic will prevail, because from what we've seen over the last couple of days and weeks, this is beginning to affect businesses. The market that is not just far from me, that is at the junction, we see lots of people closing their shops, and that's because, with the gunshots that were heard earlier on, stray bullets, and there could be some casualties. So this is becoming a challenge. It's biting hard on the economic situations. People are closing shops, people are closing malls because they know that they are not safe. We've seen these places being looted and being boggled, and we just hope the security officials will continue to have a grip on the situation.
Thanks, Ferdinand. And I know that you're in Kubwa at the moment, but do you have an update on the security situation also in Kuje? Have you also spoken to any residents in Kubwa to hear what they've had to say in the early hours of this afternoon?
Well, it was quite chaotic. Well, I think you have the visuals now, I believe. Well, we saw people running. Well, we tried to set up when we came in there, and some people wanted to talk to us. But just about that point, well, we had gunshots, and everybody scampered. And, looking at our experience, or when you want to look back at, the way things have been, well, we decided to also take safety. And that's because, well, sometimes when people run, well, casualties do happen, and that's exactly why. But I know you have those visuals now. Perhaps you could see it. You could see the actual situation. People are closing their gates. People are closing their doors. Markets and shops are locking up. And that's because they know that, yes, if these chaotic situations continue, well, there could be casualties. And that's exactly what everybody is trying to avoid.
And Ferdinand, in your own opinion, we see the visuals you're talking about. We see a van of police officers trying to maneuver the streets. We see the smoke billowing into the air and a couple of people running down that street. But from your own assessment and opinion, how challenging is this for the security operatives, really? We've seen this play out in different parts of the country and in the Federal Capital Territory itself. One will wonder why the security operatives have not been able to strategize and put a stop to this.
Well, I totally agree with you. Now, just some information. Well, those clips that you have there were actually taken from, our cameras and then also our private phones. When we saw how chaotic things were, we quickly jumped into the buses. We brought out our phones, we brought out the cameras, and then everybody just started taking pictures because it was truly very, very unsafe to still be in the same location and then still get those pictures with people running helter-skelter. Now, some of those people were running where some of the people who had surrounded their Rise news boss trying to, air their opinion. Now, talking about the security situation, it's a very good question that you asked. Now,
right.
I cover the security over here, and I've continued to relate with the security forces. Now, the argument is the security situation all across Abuja is beginning to spread this security forces thin. Now, yesterday we saw Lieutenant General Buratai, the command, the Chief of Army Staff, meet with his principal officers and then also the GOCs around the country, where they indeed pledged their commitments to democratic stability. But it's not just about words. You have to put it in action, and then we're hoping to see strategies on the ground.
We will leave it there for now.